Hi, this is Robert O'Deegan. Today we're going to be working on a photograph of the Milky Way. This is what I started out with. This is what we ended up with. So come on along. Okay, so let's get going on this Milky Way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our exposure, and I'm going to raise that up so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I can see everything in the photograph. Now I'm going to take my temperature up here and go to 38. Okay, I'm going to leave my tint alone. Now I'm going to go to my shadows and raise that to 100. My highlights, I'm going to take that down to 100 minus. I'm going to take my contrast and raise that up to 100. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my whites, and I'm going to hold down Alt Option, and as I do that, see all that coming out right there? I only want one little dot, so I'm going to have to take that all the way to about, see that little dot right there, to about there, and then I'm going to take my blacks, because it's so dark, I'm going to take my blacks and just do that to it. Okay, and let's call that, let's call that an 11. Okay, so now I'm going to go down and I'm going to go up to around 25 on my vibrance. On my saturation, I'm going to go down to about 11. Okay? Now that we've got this taken care of right here, okay, now I'm going to go over to my curves over here, and I'm going to put a dot there, and I'm going to put a dot there, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the upper dot, and you can see one's solid and one's hollow. I'm going to take the upper dot that's hollow, and before I touch it, I'm going to hold down Shift. Now I can adjust either one of them, and I'm going to adjust this to around right there, okay, and let go of the whole thing. Okay, now look at the Milky Way right now just with that adjustment. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to, now I'm going to go over to lens correction, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom vignetting, and I'm going to go all the way to the right. See that little white halo right there? I'm flashing it right there for you. You take that down, and to see if you do it too much, see how that vignetting makes the sky a little dark in the corners? So I'm going to come up here to the white, and then what you do is you back that off until you don't have any more black in the corners, no white, and see if you go too far, it'll start becoming black again. So around right there looks good. So let's go to 65, okay? Now I'm going to go over here to camera calibration. I'm going to go down here to the hue, and I'm going to go to 14. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go up to 85. And that sounds high, but okay, up to 85. Okay, so there we are there. Now I'm going to go back down now over here to detail, and I'm going to go down here to noise, and I'm going to go in on this. Okay, I'm going to take my luminance and go over here to 74. I'm going to do both of them at 74. Now I'm going to, so there's our picture just with our camera raw, with all the different settings we have. And look at it right now. Okay. Now this is the one I saved from camera raw. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you what to do over here. So I'm going to go over and get started on this. First thing we have to do, this is the background now. We're going to make a copy. So I'm going to hit Command J, okay, and make the copy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my quick selection tool and I'm going to do a quick selection of the foreground here. Okay, so there we go. That's our foreground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to my bottom right and I'm going to put a mask there. So now I'm going to put a mask there. So now you see the area I've cut out, okay, or selected. Okay. Now I'm going to go up here to my curves. When I did that, okay, look what appeared up here. So now I'm going to lock this in. I'm going to hold down Alt Option and I'm going to move my thing down and click. As soon as you have your hand here and as soon as you move it down, it changes. When it changes, you've locked in your foreground. And what happens is it shifted over. Okay, so if you really look at it and watch, you'll see it when you click on it, it shifts. Okay, so we have that going for us now. Now the next thing we're going to do is, because that's on its own, I'm going to put a dot here on my curves, a dot here on my curves. The bottom one is solid. The one up above is hollow. So I'm going to hold down Shift, and I can move the whole thing all together at one time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten up. Okay, I just lightened up the foreground. So now I'm going to bring that back in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the background here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing, kind of. I'm going to hit my curves. And what it did is it brought out a mini mask over here. And now I'm going to go to my colors and I'm going to make sure I have black. And what I want to do is I want to take this new mask down here and I want to make it black. Okay? So I'm going to come over here to my bucket and I made sure I picked black over here on my bottom colors. I'm going to pour that. And all it does is make that mask over here black. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick white. Okay? And what I'm going to do is click on this. Okay? I want to make sure that I have my mask chosen. Okay, I want to make sure I have my mask chosen, which I just did. And I want to hit my curves. Okay, right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise up this, because with that black over there, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm raising it up to white. I get my brush, which either you can go over here and click on the brush, okay, or you can just hit B. Depends on how, why, what, and where you want to do it. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm just picking the Milky Way. Watch this now. I'm just picking the Milky Way, and that's in the way, but I've done this so many times that... Okay, so I'm picking the Milky Way, and I'm making sure I cover just what I want to work with. Okay, so there it is. So here's my Milky Way. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit more down in here. Okay, so now if you look down over here on your right, on the curves, on the background level, you're going to see we have that area chosen. So here's what's going to happen. That's a sharp edge. So what I'm going to do is go to Filter, go to Blur, go to Gossamer Blur. When I hit that, this is something I use all the time, so it's pre-done. And what it does is instead of having hard edges, it's going to soften those edges up. This is a number I like, and it's 435.6. Okay, so I'm going to say OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit curves again, and I'm going to bring this back down to here. Now we're not staring at that white area. Now, let's see if this is going to work for me. Okay, we go bam. Okay, looking good. Now I'm going to go to my white. My white area is right here. Bam, look at that. Okay, now I'm going to go to my red area, which I think the red area is fine, but I'm going to hit it anyway. I'm an idiot. So here we go. Wait. So, oh no, that's looking good. That's looking real good. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. I like the way we're looking over here a whole lot. Okay, we can see the Milky Way. We can see our foreground right here. Okay, and it's a little bright, but I'm going to work with it here. Okay, so I'm going to take and click on the foreground. I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to move this whole thing around. Come on. I might have been holding down the wrong one. Okay. There, right there, like that. Okay. So I adjusted that again. I'm going to flatten it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my dodge and burn, and I'm going to take my burn a little bit, and I'm going to just take the lights over here going in the trees. Okay, I'm going to take the lights in the trees here a little bit and just kind of bring that down a little bit because it looked a little bit too much like Christmas. I'm going to go over it one more time. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my dodge tool, which is a lighting element. It'll light things up. And what I want to do is I love the reflections in the water. And I'm just lightly. Now what I want to do is make my tool a little bit bigger, and I'm going to lighten up my outside edges of my Milky Way here. Okay, and I'm now going to take my burn tool and go through the center of it, and I'm going to take this down to 7. Go to my outside areas also. Just a little bit here. Just enough to bring out the varicose veins in here a little bit more, which I know is dust particles or something. I love calling them varicose veins, but anyway. Okay, that's looking pretty nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this. So I'm going to go and put my crop tool in there. And I'm going to bring this up to around here. And I'm going to bring this down to around here. I want my Milky Way in this upper quadrant of my thing here. Okay. And that right there is our finished product on how to work with your Milky Way. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I had a lot of fun showing you guys, and I hope you enjoy the way I do my settings and everything. And the next time you go out to shoot, I hope you have a lot of fun with your camera. This is Robert O'Deegan saying thanks for watching, and I'd like to have you subscribe, so you can subscribe right here.